Welcome everyone to this episode of Notes with Jack. Let me make sure we're recording. We're good. This is
Ooh.
episode 30. All right.
Whoa,
My
30.
name is Alan Fox,
It is.
and I am here with the
Uh-oh.
director of the 2010 London production of The Phantom of the Opera,
Oh,
Love Never Dies.
oh
And
my
his
God.
name, although
Oh
he's
Lord.
worried his lighting makes him look pale right now. In
Well,
that
the title "Love Never Dies" will make me look pale if nothing else does.
his name is Jack O'Brien.
Yeah. Hi guys.
Uh,
Hi everybody. No one's
no,
answering. That's okay.
they're
Huge
answering.
chorus.
They're answering in their own cars and headphones. All right. Well, let's dive into Love Never Dies. Talk to me about that. We've never talked about that on here.
Oh, are you sure? I mean,
It's come
there's
up.
a
I've heard you
well,
mention it before, but I don't think we've ever really gotten into it.
I'm going to say something just bluntly out here, which is a lesson learned.
Hmm.
Don't ever do anything for money. That's something to really think about, because this was offered to me by my beloved friend and oft collaborator, designer Bob Crowley, the Irish brilliant, gifted genius. And we'd done a lot of work with our mutual friend Tom Stoppard, thanks to Lincoln Center. And Bob called me to say that he had been offered to do the sequel of Phantom of the Opera. And I hope I'm not violating who cares? Some crossing some line here.
I think
But
okay. I'll stop you.
he read the adaptation.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I think he was in a boat and he threw it in the water.
Wait,
He thought it
Crowley
was
did?
just, yeah.
So he
He thought it
loved
was
it.
just,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
you loved it. He said, no, thank you very much.
Hmm.
And as very often happens with Andrew, who's a genius and a very complicated,
Andrew Lloyd Webber, we're talking about, the creator
yeah,
of Phantom of the Opera.
Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber, and who, by the way, I read in the New York Times just today, the most successful composer of all time. Is that possible? It's something like that.
I'm
Because they were
pretty
asking,
yeah. I
oh,
would
please.
guess that he's probably the
He's
one.
up there. He's
Yeah.
up there. Yeah, no question about it. Anyway, it's very often happens when somebody offers you something and you say no, they really want you even more.
Yeah.
And he persisted.
Hmm.
And I think Bob explained that the story didn't seem to hold up, and another version was done, and Bob read it, and it was indeed better. And so he said, I think there are three people, I'm going to get this wrong, that he could do it with. Two of his favorite English directors and me.
Yeah.
And the other two were not available. For some reason, I don't mean that I wasn't chosen, but I think they weren't available. And he called me and he said, do you want to do this? And here's the thought that I had, that I rue to this very day, and I offer it as don't go here be dragons
Sure.
on the map of life. I thought to myself, if a 2016th of the people who have gone to see Phantom of the Opera are curious enough to see the sequel, and how bad can it be, I'll never have to worry for the rest of my life, And even if you think of yourself as a successful person, and this haunts me, by the way, is the fact that people feel they need more money all the time. And I'm also reminding myself, and I think I've said this to you, how much money do you need to live comfortably, to be comfortable?
Yeah.
You don't need millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
And I do think the acquisition of that becomes a kind of obsession in and of itself, but that's another story.
Just to interject, what I see happening a lot of times, people have a first success, they then way overstretch their living standards to reflect the new them success-wise, and you forget that success is so fleeting. So you're back on the hamster wheel because you've raised your standard of living so much to mirror, like, you have your first big break. You want to mirror the people that had, that are living in that echelon. So you overstretch. And then it's like you got to get on the hamster wheel of money. I don't know. That's what I keep seeing. It feels like
I
time and
think
time again.
I think that's true. It's also, and I'm probably getting into trouble with this one. It's also true that you conceive of yourself on a certain level,
Yeah.
and you begin to live that way, and you begin to support yourself that way.
Yeah.
You ask of yourself, I really want to do this. I want to live this way. And so I will now bend my effort to make that happen. I just read this remarkable biography of Barry Diller
Yeah. You
called
were telling me about it.
Who Knew, which is, I recommend it highly. It's just an astonishing book about people. He and I are almost the same age.
Yeah.
And as two uncomfortably gay people from the 50s, where you couldn't be gay
Yeah.
and think kindly of yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
then what does that do to you and your image of yourself and
Yeah.
how you pursue your future?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's another story. But anyway,
Right.
whether this works or not, I found myself saying, yes, Bob, I will do this with you.
Yeah.
And then my next memory is I'm in a cab crossing London on my way to lunch with Andrei Trzynski, who has gone to his reward, alas, wonderful man, a producer of that was really responsible for a lot of the early success and managing of Andrew's works and productions. And we liked each other enormously. God, I loved him. I loved him. And I'm on my way to lunch with Andrew Lloyd Webber and Ben Elton, who wrote Queen, among other things. And he and Andrew wrote a piece called The Beautiful Game, which is about football, soccer, we call soccer football.
Sure.
Which is the national sport over there. Why are you giggling?
Just because, I don't know, it's so European of you to call it football.
It isn't. It is.
It sounds
but
good.
They, but they call it football. They know.
No,
football.
I know. It's just
and
funny
you're
you
a jock, and I'm not a jock, so I can do that.
You sound great.
Yeah.
You sound great. All right.
Okay.
So you, Andrew Lloyd Webber, the other guy that wrote the soccer movie or the soccer play, you guys are hanging around. You're eating lunch.
We're having lunch in a restaurant, sunlit restaurant in a little tiny room. And I'm realizing these two guys are like in another realm. I mean, they're very confident. They're very successful. They are deigning to entertain me as a director, although they don't seem to know too much about me, or nor do I think they really care very much about me. It's about them and the work, and how do I feel about it? Well, I'll tell you how I feel about it. There's a moment in the script that I am recently have held in my hand, in which Christine, the soi-disant heroine of Phantom of the Opera, meets the Phantom and immediately says something about she's had his baby. And I simply said, I don't think you do that on the first meeting.
Right. It's a big reveal.
It's a big reveal. Hi, how have you been? Well, I had your baby. Whatever. It's shocking.
Yeah.
And that didn't go down very well. Andrew was, I think, determined. He wanted me to do this. I know. I had a drink previously with him and Madeline, his wife, at the Covent Garden, and a lot of noise, a lot of people shouting, and so it was a highly intense period of competitive witchery. But I know that he liked me. He did like me. I think he likes me still, frankly. And he can be incredibly charming. Anyway, I had to get this note out. I had to say, is there any room for baby here? Can we talk about the fact that as a dramatist, as a person who actually puts plays on, I don't believe that moment.
Right.
Andrew was, I think, okay, Ben was like, it's done, it's written. What are you talking about? What's the problem?
Right.
He was not remotely very receptive. Um,
And you feel like it was authentically he didn't like your note, or he was defensive, or did you
oh,
have a
I'm gonna
sense of
say,
that at all?
I'm really in some deep water here, but this is the kind of day we're having. Why not?
Right, right.
I'm in Los Angeles. It's raining.
Yeah, I'm here.
So
I know it's been pouring all day long.
I know.
Yeah,
So let's take the gloves off. I think the Brits have a lot of trouble with this. I really do. And I don't think I'm
mm.
the first person to say
Yeah.
this.
You say that a
I
lot. Yeah,
Well, we're different from them. I have a
yeah,
theory about this. I
yeah,
have a theory that people who live in small areas,
yeah.
islands, I speak of the Brits, I speak of the Japanese, they have an awareness that they are very close up to people near them, and they behave much less bravely, much less brazenly
Mm.
than those of us who have big territory, the Russians, the
Right.
Australians, and the Americans.
Yeah,
We're loud people. We tend to be loud people.
yeah,
And I get it. I do see that. I do feel that.
yeah.
There's a cultural shift there. Okay. That said, I'm just gonna say I don't think Ben Elton gave a shit about me, and I don't know that we ever met again.
Mm. Hmm.
I don't think in the time that we spent working on that piece, I ever encountered that gentleman again, ever saw him again.
Yeah,
So he was done with his assignment.
yeah,
And I was in for a penny, in for a pound. And
yeah,
there it began.
yeah.
And things behaved in the most astonishing way. I realized at one point we were going to Abbey Road. We were not in, we were just going into rehearsal.
Mm.
And they were going to record the album.
Yeah. Did it? Did
Wait a
it?
minute.
Did it feel like a cash grab for them?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. No, I think I have to give it to Andrew. His power of belief in himself is profound, and
Yeah,
it's something to watch, something to be near.
yeah,
He's supremely confident, but he's like a comparable genius, Tom Stoppard, who's I'm very close to.
yeah,
Uh, Tom, I've talked to you about this before
yeah,
because I share this with you.
yeah.
You're a writer first and foremost,
Hmm.
and so the value of the word as you wrote it
Yeah,
is of intense means something different to you than it does to me who am staging it. I'm
yeah,
looking at the way these words represent a world I can deliver as realistic,
yeah,
and you are hearing, as Tom is, as Andrew is of his music,
yeah,
what you meant.
yeah, yeah,
And I remember saying that to Tom one time when we were working on the coast of Utopia, and we ended up in Australia together at the same time. He
yeah,
was getting an award, and I was doing Full Monty or something. And we were working on a Saturday, and I said of this huge paragraph, I just don't understand it, Tom. I just don't understand it. And
yeah.
there was a pause, and he said, but that's what I meant.
Hmm.
And it resonated really strongly with me. I thought, oh, I see. There is a difference here. Your investment in what you've created comes in a different envelope from the work that I'm creating. And our job now is to align our visions
Yeah,
so that we make the same universe.
yeah. I want to jump in because what's so interesting, and I always bring it back to
Is this
this.
what you thought we were going to talk about today? No.
Of course, I always know what we're going to talk about. I no, because we're going to get to actually what I wanted to talk about. We just take our own sweet time sometimes.
We do.
But
We do.
but no, man. I think I told, maybe it was the last episode or the episode before, when I was talking about working with Denzel. He never talked to me again after I pushed back.
Yeah.
We were engaging, a few days in a row. Like, I'd gone to see him. We were doing this work together. I pushed back on a note. I never heard from him. The next day, like, I never really heard from him again. And I was also, originally I was supposed to be at the table read. I got the call, I'm not going to go to the table read. You know what I mean? It was like that. There was that kind of shift.
You weren't invited to the table read?
It wasn't meant for me. The say like that's how it was basically sort of phrased. It's like
Wow.
it could become, because Spike Lee is a writer too, it could become, it just look for the good of the project, like it just
I get
wasn't
it.
the right
No,
it doesn't matter. We don't need to go
I
into
know
that.
exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking
But
about.
here's what I want to get to though, because it's really interesting because the whole reason I got sole credit on Highest to Lowest is because when Denzel stopped talking to me, what I had to come back in at the end of the production and fix was what I had told them when we had that disagreement was
What
going to
happened?
happen,
Yep.
right? I'm credited as the sole writer. That's the only reason because I had to be brought back in because no one knew what was happening because all they did was take out the thing at the beginning. The whole back half of the movie didn't really make sense. So I was then called to come back in and try to
Can
stitch it
solve
together.
this.
Right.
Right.
Because no one knew what was going on. No good, no bad. Right. But what's interesting that I really want to dig into, and that's why I asked with that Ben guy, like how it felt. Did he really believe it? Was he just being defensive? I don't know either, right? It's like, and I'm trying to better understand because I can't. God, I hope if anyone is out there listening and we ever work together, if you ever catch me telling you that I completely reject whatever you're saying, I want you to please play this back for me, right? Because if I can't hear you out and try to make a marriage of our universes, like you just said, but when does that disappear for people?
I don't know. I love you saying that. I love you for saying that. Look, let me just say this is a kin thing.
Right.
There were three characters in the play,
Mm-hmm.
in the musical.
Mm-hmm.
Three characters. I can't even remember their names now, but there was a woman, a young woman, an older, and two older guys, and they were like the three Norns. They were like his henchmen. They were like and I don't know what they hung around the Phantom and they did his bidding.
Mm-hmm.
And they had musical things to sing and they were all part of it. Okay, so we're in rehearsal, and they come to me. These three sweet actors come to me and they say, "We have no idea what we're doing in this show. We don't know who we are. We don't know why we're here. Can you help us?"
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, if I can't, who can? I mean, that's my job. I got to help you. So I said, I'll figure this out. So I went home and I thought about the story that we were doing,
Yeah.
that where the Christine and the Phantom have been separated. She's married Raoul. They've been separated. They have a baby. The baby apparently is the Phantom's child. We don't know how that happened, but that's the ball of wax we have to shape.
Sure.
And
It's a
so
romantic boat. I
yeah.
mean, I
So
listen. You take a date in
so
that boat, I
so
see
I
it.
so I so I sit down and I think about everything that happened
Mm,
from the end of the curtain going down on Phantom of the Opera
yeah.
to where we start our picture, our play, our musical in New York. Okay,
Hmm.
there's a journey, and
Sure.
there's no backstory. They're
Sure.
just they pick up the story, and now we're in it. And the consequence are three characters who don't have any idea who they are or why they're there.
Yeah.
So I spent like an entire evening, and I wrote what happened
Yeah.
from the curtain going down on the Phantom of the Opera to where we pick up the story.
Hmm.
And I got them, the two of them, down at Southampton. And there's a night with no light where they can't see each other. And apparently that's when they make love. And then he gets on a boat and she's sleeping and he gets away and she doesn't know it. And then ends up in 5 Points in Manhattan, where Madame Giry, who rescued him, has taken him and hidden him away. And he finds a handbill that leads him to Coney Island and a freak show,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Five pages of quite interesting storytelling.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
take it in and I present it to the three actors and to Andrew
Yeah.
and Andrei Ptushinsky,
Yeah.
my jury.
Yeah.
And the kids are ecstatic. They
Yeah.
know who they are and why they ended up this. And in my version, he invents basically what's that? What's oh God, the new circus thing that happened without and never met. Anyway, he invents
Sure.
this because of these children, these poor people who are actually just they're not whole.
Yeah.
Andre takes it, rips it, crunches it in his fist, and says, "That's bullshit.
Right. Right.
We don't need that."
Right.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Now we played that. The actors played that
Yeah.
reality because I gave them a where
They
and a
need
when.
something. Right. They need
They
something. I mean,
did.
but here's the thing though, and this is what I like.
We were doomed.
Well, well,
Doomed. Well,
to
yes.
spoiler alert, the play wasn't a big success, right? And that's part of the
No.
reason I brought it up. It wasn't a big hit,
No.
right? But what I want to keep trying to drill down on, and what I'm so curious about is, I look at I had a conversation earlier today with a guy, right? And I've really been struggling, as I've told you, and I've told a lot of people around me, I don't really want to do this anymore. I don't mean
I know.
notes with Jack. I mean, I don't really want to be a writer. I don't feel like I really want to. It doesn't, a lot of times I don't feel like the stuff I've
Just
been doing, it doesn't really support me. It doesn't bring me
it's not
alive
fulfill
anymore.
you. I know. I
Nothing,
know.
it's
I
not
get it.
fulfilling, right? No, no good, no bad. Let's just leave that there. I had a conversation with a guy today, and he said something that, and you know me, I get so excited when I hear like ideas I've never heard before, and he
Yeah.
blew my mind. And this is probably going to sound so simple to people, but when he said it to me, he said, as you grow and as you change, right? Your, let's just call it, your level of consciousness will change, right? It's like you're a child, you're an adult, your level of consciousness changes. As you continue to grow, you will continue to change. If something feels like it doesn't, like let's say you feel like, ah, I'm not here anymore, I should move on to something else. What if you didn't think about moving on to something else? What if you turned around and said, how can I bring this with me? If
Oh,
you used to love this thing, like let's say you used to love writing, but right now you feel like, ah, it just doesn't, it's not the thing for me anymore because it doesn't feel like it fits. There's another thing. It's like maybe, or maybe you can actually, you're here to help bring that with you, that idea. And that's the theater, the whatever, you know, and we've had all these discussions about like the way the business works. It's something really helped me about that. And I guess the reason I
oh,
wanted to bring that up was these people we look to, for Andrew Lloyd Webber to treat it like that, right? Or for my experiences with these people that we all look to as the standard bearers, right? How do we not become that, right? Because you keep meeting, like we see so many people and hear so many stories like that. What is that thing? And maybe, you know, you haven't become that. You are the consummate, let me figure out how to make this work for everyone and the actors. What happens when people lose that, right? Was Andrew Lloyd Webber like that at 30? Or did something shift? And I just want, you know, in your vast encyclopedia of experience, has there been, I mean, have you watched,
yeah. Oh,
I
yes.
mean, like, you know, I know you've been around it, but I'm fascinated by that because honestly, if everyone I look up to is like this, I don't want to become them.
Well, let me simplify that in the way that you said. Maybe this is really simple.
Yeah.
Uh, um, uh, you s- the bitch goddess success
Hmm.
um, is such a yawning maw of meism that she allows you to fall in love with yourself
Yeah.
as complete. And I think the thing that has saved me, if I am saved, if I can even suggest that, which is also probably a stupid thing to say, is that I've never believed that about myself. I've never really thought that I was there. You
Right.
know that. We've
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I have friends who are constantly saying, stand up for yourself, you know.
Hmm.
You're that's not who you are. And I said, yeah, I am. That's exactly who I am. I don't register on the panoply of the scale of success that I'm looking at. I don't see me there.
Yeah.
Now, I watched it with somebody like Neil Simon, who I had the great pleasure of observing over the 10 years that he and Marcia were married.
Yeah.
And I was swept into that world. And I watched him. He was in the most exalted, successful realm when I first met him that any playwright, any writer I know has ever enjoyed. He
Yeah.
was on the cover of Time magazine. He had like 3 shows then on Broadway with huge hits at the same time. He was the ticket. He was Doc. He was the real guy.
Hmm.
And I remember because we talk to each other all the time.
Yeah.
The people that we're with.
Yeah.
So if you listen to your damn story, you're hearing it happening if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
He said about Saint Suber, his original producer, that Saint Suber, he had a script, original script called "Come Blow Your Horn," and he gave it to Saint, and Saint said, "That's not good enough. Write it again." He didn't tell him what to do. He just sent it back. And I think, and I'm going to get this wrong, but I'm not totally wrong.
Yeah.
Neil wrote that play, I think 20 some times. And as he said to me in the rewriting of it, he learned how to write a play.
That's what I would tell you about the project that shall not be named.
Okay, yes. No. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But down the line comes Barefoot in the Park, comes the Sunshine Boys, comes Odd Couple, comes, I think, a play called Star Spangled Girl, if I'm not wrong. And and it's always Saint Suber, and Saint gave them. And now he's Neil Simon.
Yeah.
He's got the ticket, and he knows how to do it. He said to me, he took that script and said, "Oh, okay, let's go." And he knew then that their relationship was over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Neil said this to me at the time that he stopped listening to other people. When you become your own universe, when you've achieved something that allows you to sit at the table and be that guy, that's when it bites you in the ass.
Yeah. So did Saint
sorry.
No. You sorry. I don't.
I think I'm done. I'm done. I got to be done.
That was good. No, that was good though. That you were firing. So did Saint Suber say this is fine? Let's go. Like he stopped because he's got a mortgage payment too, and he knows he's betting on the fastest horse at the racetrack. I don't know if that's how horse racing works, but you know what I mean. It's like so Saint changed, and Neil was self-aware enough to go, A, our relationship is done, and B, I'm in a lot of trouble because now I don't know who will tell me the truth.
Well, many years later, Saint Suber, God rest his soul, comes to me at the Globe with the script of Kiss Me Kate, which he produced with Cole Porter, years and said the book was never any good. Keep going.
Right.
In other words, he understood that Neil didn't need him anymore, or he couldn't see that. But it didn't change his methodology, because he knew that the script of Kiss Me Kate was not complete in his estimation. Neil stopped listening to people. And I won't go into this, is another huge story, but I had, Neil fired me, and then because I had a theater and we remained friends, because what I've always done, Alan, what I've always done is I've always remained friends with those people. I've never ever closed the door.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have a problem with them, I keep going, because you never know. So Neil comes to me with, what was it? Jake's Women. And I'm years later, and says, "You got to fix this play for me." And I'm thinking, I'm the guy you fired, who you said, if I'm not wrong, nothing in my life qualifies me to work on your show.
Yeah.
And so he stopped listening. He stopped, your friend, whoever that is, that's a good friend you talk to today,
Yeah.
who said that. That's a really smart
Yeah,
guy.
it's a smart thing. It's funny though, man, because I when I hear that thing about Neil too, I think I have a problem with pride with that kind of stuff.
Yes, you
More,
do.
more than
We
a few,
all.
well, but more than a few times in my life when people have. I mean, I don't know how we're meant to go through it, but if someone decides I'm not the one for anything, you know what I mean? Whether it's a work thing, whether it's any kind of relationship, it's like if they decide like, okay, I'm gonna take a step away for a second, it's it's
The
closed.
door.
You know,
Oh,
it's
I know.
the door
I've
the
seen it.
the
I've
doors
I've
the
seen it.
door's been blown up. The door got
I've
filled
seen
with
you.
concrete. Yeah,
I've seen you do it. I've
but I
seen you
don't
do it.
necessarily, and I don't. That's probably my own kind of defense mechanisms. But that's interesting. But just to get back to what we were talking about, it's interesting, man, because I just want to. Because here's the thing about people, you know, it's like it's easy for us to sit here and I don't know. I think part of what you're, as an outsider that probably doesn't know a lot, what I think has been your genius, it's just you are at a certain level, right? And it's silly to objectively not say that. However, your genius, I believe, is staying curious to what else is out there, right? Like that's what I, you know, if I'm, you know, one of the biggest compliments I could possibly give you is the way you've inspired me the most is that always maintaining curiosity. And that's what I see shut down. Like I, you know, I've seen people say things to you, even with me when you first met me. It's like I would say things to you, and it would be very easily to say like, "What the heck does this know nothing kid that drinks all these vodka diet cokes think he's talking about?" Right?
Hmm.
However, you were curious enough to at least keep going, and sometimes you'd say, "I don't really buy that," or other times you'd be like, "You know what? There's something here." And I know that you know while you may not see yourself in such a rarefied air, let's say people like you know Neil Simon or whatever, like it's hard to be Neil Simon when you're the most popular. People do not understand. It is impossible. Like you, a
Guess
lot of times you wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy.
guess what?
What?
I think it happened to Moliere.
I'm sure. I think it
I
happens. That
think it
happens to
happened.
everyone.
I think it happened. It happened to Andrew Lloyd Webber. I think
Right.
it happens to everybody. I think you get to the point where the only thing you can hear is you,
Yeah. But can
and I
you?
think that's
But is
yeah.
that the price of the ticket? Or can if we're and I'm just saying I'm not gonna go on to be Android Lloyd Webber, right? It's like, but theoretically, if someone out there is listening, right, and they might go out there to be Android Lloyd Webber, if they are self aware enough when they're 25 to say, here are the pitfalls, because I'm thinking about how to bring it full circle to the guy I talked to earlier. How do you bring it up with you, right? Because there will always be Andrew Lloyd Webber. There will always be Denzel Washington. There will always be these people that are pinging at a certain level that they will rise to the top of their field and they will define what it is that they do, right? How do the next generation of those people not get lost in the universe of me to make it better for everyone? And that doesn't mean that everyone else's ideas are always right. It just means that can you have the table big enough to hear other people and not just a universe of you?
One of the things I hear about said about myself
Yeah.
that I think is probably true is that I listen to everybody. That I
Yeah.
say in rehearsal or what have you. I'll listen to the dresser. Anybody who has an idea, the best idea goes on stage.
Mm.
Let's talk it out. I do that,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking to myself here as I hear you reflecting on all of this. I don't think I can ever do it by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that keeps me going is the people I work with.
Mm.
Um, I need them, Alan. I
Yeah.
need them. I do not have all those answers myself.
Yeah.
I'm only good when the room is alive with a lot of that stuff, and I can say that, not that, maybe that one. But what I don't feel ever I can do it alone, ever.
Yeah.
And I get unhappy when those voices are cut off. I noticed thinking back on our experience with Safe Space, when there was a noise in the room that wasn't you talking to me, and I couldn't shut it up, I began to get anxious and unhappy
Mm.
and felt that I was drowning.
Mm.
And it led me into an afternoon and an encounter I'm not proud of when I lashed out
Right.
because I thought I couldn't hear my partner here.
Right.
I couldn't hear the guy who brought me to the table
Yeah.
any longer. he had been shut out. And so I think there's something in the fact that I know I've survived an extraordinary list of decades and events and ideas, but I've never really thought I was the right I was the only guy. I never even thought that.
Yeah.
I still don't think that.
Yeah.
I think you do want my notes. I
Yeah.
do think you do
Yeah.
want my notes because I think I just keep trying.
Yeah.
And I never feel I got this, baby.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
when I'm comfortable. I know when I'm in my comfort zone. The roommate with Mia and Patty, uh, loved being in that room with
Yeah.
that play, with Jen's play. I loved it. I was very comfortable there. I knew what to do.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the only one.
Right.
I knew how to listen to them.
Yeah. Do you think part of the reason, because you have such a loyal, fiercely like fanatical Jack O'Brien team that I feel like you have this group of people that would ride or die for what you do, right? And I have to believe that part of your ability to build that, because that's a gift in itself, is being able to build that type of community around you. That, and I think I'm guessing that part of the reason is because everyone feels heard, and like what a gift to give them. And then let's like, the platoon will go to die for you wherever you say go, because they believe in, they've been heard, and they believe in what you bring to the table.
Let me throw out another angle. I've always believed that the American musical theater piece, is the most collaborative art form ever existed.
Hmm.
You
That's
could
cool,
be at
actually. I love that thought. I think you're right.
it is. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it is
Yeah.
because a novelist has the page and their mind and the story, and there's nobody in the room but them.
Yeah.
But when it's me, I'm in the room with the writer, the composer, the lighting designer, the costume designer, the sound designer, the stage manager, the assistant stage manager. There are desks everywhere now. An intimacy instructor that's there to help me help people kiss each other. Something it never
You
occurred to
need
me
all
I
the
would
help you can
need.
get with it.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Right.
I am sitting there in front of an army of people, all of whom are exceptional and should be valued and heard.
Yeah.
And I never tire of that.
Yeah.
And I never confuse it with me.
Yeah.
I don't.
When I was
And
when I
if
was when
and
I was growing up playing basketball, I remember learning very early on that if I could focus on how best to make the other four players on the court feel like I was putting them in the best position to succeed for themselves, that was always the North Star. So I remember being 15 or 16 and looking at people and thinking about like, okay, well, this person does this well. He doesn't do this that well. So every conversation we're having, I'm trying to like breadcrumb him to let me help you be the most successful, And I have to believe I've always, I haven't been in a sort of leadership position with stuff like this, but I've always assumed it's sort of like that.
I lo- you just hit on something that is one of my favorite things. The rules for everything are the rules for everything else.
Totally. Totally.
And you know what I mean? In
Yeah.
other words,
Yeah.
if you want to talk about basketball, we're talking about what we're just talking about now.
Exactly. The most
But
collaborative sport there is. No, yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. A lot
yeah,
of, and we have intimacy coordinators on the
and
basketball court.
yeah,
Right.
and I think that's true of business. I think that's true of
100%.
finance. I think,
100%.
alas, it's true of government.
Yeah.
Look where we are now.
Yeah.
When you narrow the gauge where you can only hear one voice.
Totally. Well, also think about it.
Not very interesting.
Well, but here's the thing. If you had to campaign to win starting point guard, you would have to go me, me, me. Like just the political idea of campaigning moots the idea of being someone that can lead from a place of we. Because
That's
you
right.
have to win to be in charge. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so what, and our whole culture is built on that idea that if I just say, and I don't know, man, and it's sometimes I won't, I mean, I'm going to admit something on here that maybe I don't want to admit, but I built my whole basketball career off doing everything I could to make everyone else look well.
Oh man, I
But
love this.
well, I know, but here's the thing. But it was also secretly selfish because
But
I
it is.
I know, but I guess what I'm saying is like I had so much success. Like I didn't score a lot, but I would have so much success because I did this thing that other people didn't do. Right? And it's funny though because I think it translates, but sometimes in the arts it doesn't feel like it, or it doesn't feel like it yet. You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's why.
But it has for you.
That's
And maybe
yeah.
that's why I look to you as, a
Well, we like to be on each other's team. Is
right,
what we're saying.
right.
No, I'm serious. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
This is the answer. This is absolutely the answer. You have to have that, and yet the whole thing at the same time. You have to be me with the winner, and you have to have everybody else at the same time feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
When you have that, you are on the right track. When you don't, you're shutting people out, and you're going to drive that Mercedes off a cliff.
Yeah.
What fun.
What fun. Last thing as we wrap up.
Did we get to the subject? We didn't. We never do.
Yeah, we did.
Was that the subject?
Well, we took the subject and kept moving on. The only other word I had written down was resilience because I was curious after you go through something like Love Never Dies, what does it feel like on the other side? Because what I was curious was, again, a lot of this was prompted, as these things always do. Whatever's coming into my universe on the day that we are speaking, I think, let's see if this pings in Jack today. What was pinging in me was that comment from that guy who was like, instead of cutting and going, what if you looked at how you can raise it up to where you would like to operate to make you feel fulfilled? And that sort of, I wondered if coming off Love Never Dies, how did you, I know it's one job to the next a lot of times it's been, but do you remember what it felt like after that sort of?
Well, the thing is banging on my head right now is the Joyce Carey quote that Ellis loved so much that became a mantra, which is, where is the exciting discovery with which you began? That's just profound.
Yeah.
Because that's the wellspring from which your enthusiasm and your participation all stem. And if you lose that, get off the playing field.
Yeah. Did you have to look for that again after Love Never Dies, or did that never die in you?
I don't know how to say this. I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because as a sort of crazy little Gemini kid that I had so many interests.
Yeah.
I'm so attracted to so many vivid lights.
Yeah.
That I can, I'm always you're quite right. I'm curious about them all. And I know that on some level, they're all the same.
Yeah.
The formula is the same. So if I apply it to basketball instead of a musical, maybe I'll get it right this time.
Yeah.
Because it's still, I have to keep all those channels alive.
Yeah.
And I was aware, I was aware even while it was happening that I was being shut out of the creative thrum of that story because they didn't want me there.
Yeah.
They wanted me to facilitate it. They didn't want me to contribute. George Abbott, when he was 105, thought I was a whiz kid about technical stuff, that I was going to do a production of Damn Yankees that was technically more skilled than he knew. I didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell the story I thought he told, but I thought I could tell it maybe better.
Yeah.
And so when you're stifled, when you're shut out, when you're cut off from the pack, you are not in the game any longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watch the football. I love watching football.
Yeah.
Because, there they are.
Wait. Football or soccer?
No, football. I love football.
Okay.
I love watching football. I don't know much about soccer.
Yeah.
But of that football. But I mean, there they are. Shut up! I can't hear we're trying to communicate. We're trying. I've got this idea.
Yeah.
You go there, you go you
Right.
know,
Right.
and
Right.
that's the metaphor. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you get the ball down the field
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
everybody doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard to figure out? It's exhausting.
Yeah. It is. It's interesting. I'm
Yeah.
interesting. I keep waiting, thinking it gets easier at some point.
No, it gets different. And
Hmm.
that's the fun part. It actually does get easier. But it does but the rules the same rules. You just have to keep redefining them. You just have to keep redefining them.
Yeah.
You have to tell yourself every day, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
What fun. What fun.
Yeah. It's good.
It's fun. I'm having a wonderful time. Thank you for this. I had a
Jack
lovely
and
time. Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, man. We'll have to have you back on sometime.
Maybe.
The
I'm not doing anything.
All right, let's wrap it up. Well, you are doing something. You're in Beverly Hills.
Yes. Yeah.
You are Hollywood Jack is back.
Yeah, Jack, this is the week, folks.
Yeah. That you're
I
shooting the
get
next 3 days, huh?
three, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The big, it's a lot of stuff.
It's gonna be great. I can't. We all can't wait to check in next week and hear about it.
You're gonna have to.
All right, we will. All right, everyone. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you as always, Jack. So great.
Love you.
So great. Love you too. We'll pick back up next week and talk to you then. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.